Okay, so welcome to the final session of the week of our first week of Career Ready Plus with the University of Southampton. Today we're really pleased to welcome a mixture of alumni and local business owners. So we've got Mark Sipsma, who is a director, and Pavithra Shetty, who is a Power BI developer and also an alumna from 2024, I think. Is that correct?
2023, yeah.
2023.
Yeah.
So I'll let you guys introduce yourselves in a sec, but we also have Raphael, who is a mechanical engineering aerospace graduate from 2024, who's now working as a project engineer at GSK. So we wanted to get everybody in together. And we're going to ask some questions about the business, so MPower Up, and then we're going to hear a bit about your career stories as well. So I think we'll take up about half the session, and then we will leave half at the end, as we have been doing for all of your guys' questions, because I know you have lots of questions. So I think we'll start. Let's start with Mark. Mark, could you just introduce yourself and tell us a bit about
Mm.
MPower Up and the sort of sector that you work in?
Yeah, of course. So happy Friday, all. Nice to see you all. So I'm Mark Sipsma, co-founder of MPower Up, and I specialize in apps and automation. So specifically within Microsoft area. I've been working with this area for around 20 years. So a bit of background about me. I worked in small companies, and then moved into enterprise. So, 60,000 plus users, very different experience from small companies. And then I broke away and became an IT contractor on my own. So working for businesses such as One Manufacturing, Appetito, and also consulting Deloitte for government Department for Transport. So a variety of roles. And then 5 years ago, I was working with another guy also called Mark, and he specialized in data. And we decided to come together to set up a business called MPower Up. So I've been going 5 years. We're a team of nine based in Winchester. And as an overview, we specialize in Microsoft specific technology. Apps and automation is one side. So specifically Microsoft Power Apps and Power Automate. So for Power Apps, think many businesses are still doing stuff on paper, would you believe it, in huge Excel spreadsheets or even on Microsoft Word documents that they're sending back and forth. And we pick those up and we make them online apps. And that might be a CRM, like customer a relationship manager, where you're capturing accounts and contacts and all the fun details about correspondence back and forth. And for Power Automate, that's a tool where you can automate processes such as you may have a form which you may send for approval, and that can be automatically sent. It's all auditable, and it really makes people more productive and automates things behind the scenes. Also on that area is AI. It's really come into our world. We have a tool called Copilot Studio, which we're skilling up on, and I believe we can talk a bit more about AI in a minute if you like. And so that makes up the app side. On the data side, which Pavi works on, we specialize in Power BI, which is a tool for building reports and dashboards, something Pavi will touch on in a sec. And also a tool which is grown in quite a lot of excitement recently. It's called Microsoft Fabric, and that is a tool that many customers and companies are becoming excited about. And it's this one-stop shop to bring your data together in one place. And people like that for one reason, that they're bringing it back into one place, from CRMs, from ERPs, from HR systems, from finance, all over the company into one place. Number one, to report on, but also at the top of people's lips at the moment is AI. And without a nicely set out area full of nice data, you ask questions via AI of this information, and often it comes back with useless information unless you've got it all sorted. So many companies are realizing they have to go back to their data to work out where they are. So that's a short, intro of MPower Up.
Yeah.
Happy to chat more in a
Thank you.
bit
Yeah.
about.
All the stuff you said, I just recognize that from working in a big business, how we've all tried to, had all of those tools come in. No one knows how to use them. it's really difficult. So I can see where you have a lot of business and a lot of demands for what you're doing. Yeah, really relevant. So you mentioned AI. What's the sort of time frame and how has the AI started to change the way that your clients are working and how you have to work with them?
Yeah, so AI is becoming, very prominent. And really for us as a business, there's two clear sides where AI can benefit us as a business. The first is that, the way we work as a business internally. So making ourselves more productive, so using the tools. So it's very basic, we use Microsoft Copilot, you've got it in your email, you've got it in Teams, etc. So for example, even today I've used AI multiple times. We've transcribed a meeting, from a Teams meeting we had from a sales call, and that's thankfully given me a really nice overview of the call and a summary. And even before that call, I was really short of time and didn't have a chance to read through everything they've sent me beforehand, the requirements. And I was able to just stick it in Copilot and said, I've got a meeting with this lead. Can you summarize it so I know what I'm going off the call and speak about? So that's one area. The guys are using it also, and the girls for development, right? So using tools like Claude Code to help them develop apps, develop dashboard, develop automation to try and speed that up. So we're looking for ways to really speed up what we do already, and be more productive and really achieve more. So in my case, doing those sales tasks there, that might allow me to speak to more people, allow me to do more sessions like this rather than spending it researching the company, going to their website, finding their LinkedIn, reading through, scrolling back their history, looking up the company on Companies House. So we're also building ourselves little agents. We have a tool available to us. It's called Copilot Studio. And it enables going past that point where people are using Copilot on the side of Outlook and Word and Excel and asking questions as like a search tool, to really building things that are specific to your workflow and your business. So that might be working with a finance system, and you say, I want to be able to type in, create me a purchase order. This is the amount, this is the customer. And it says, respond back and say, please confirm the amount you would like to put in, etc. And you can do that conversationally rather than trying to find the app, clicking new, trying to find the area, tabbing through, filling it out manually. So we're doing that with things like sales lead search. Pavi and the rest of the team are doing it for time entry. What a boring task, right? At the end of your day or end of a week, having to click on the time entry, click new, tab through. When you've got an agent, you say, add 3 hours every day this week, for such and such project, such and such tasks. So really sort of using it in that way, and the outcome being for us to be more productive. And the second way that we see AI benefiting our business and benefiting our customers, right, is can we produce tools that we can sell to customers that have AI within it? All right, so that may be, we work with one quite well-known pie company. They've got a complaint system. If you complain about these pies in Waitrose or Sainsbury's or whatever, it goes through, and we can add elements like it can guess, whether it's related to a fish pie and it's got enough fish in it, and it can auto, use the drop down, fulfill the drop downs and fields for you. So saving someone manually who has to complete all those fields every single complaint, right? It can hazard a guess. And we ourselves use that. So if someone sends a support request through to us via email, we've got a triage agent. It's called what's called an autonomous agent. So we're not chatting with it directly, but it goes up behind the scenes. It summarizes really nicely, tries to propose a solution to us, sends it in an email, and also fills in quite a few of those drop downs, which saves Jake, who works, as first line support. He says it saves him 5 minutes a ticket, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you add them up in a huge company, and it really can make a difference. So the benefit there is, really saving our customers time and money, and for a business, it's whether we can sell solutions with AI within it. In terms of our customers' view on AI, you know, I I like to be balanced on this. So AI is at the hype is massive, right? We specialize in Microsoft technology. I go to a Microsoft conference now. I cannot go into a session without the word AI being used, right? And that is, the way we're thinking, I've just explained, is the way customers are thinking. They want to use AI. They want to embed it in their business. However, just to be totally realistic, we haven't got customers banging down, our door saying we need agents left, right, and centre. All right. So to give you an example, I spoke to one senior executive last week, and he said to me, I've got an objective in my yearly objectives. I need to implement AI. I've got nowhere to, I don't know where to start, Mark. Where do I start? Where are the requirements? You know, they haven't got agents kicking about. They've got people playing around, even if they Google stuff, you see Gemini in the top, don't you? And it gives you, so they're using it without knowing it. They're copying stuff into Copilot. They're maybe going off on their own, doing stuff. People are often at the level where they need the training at the entry level to use Copilot or Claude in its most basic form. So that's just one example of where customers are at. Some are really in depth, really on it, and others sort of are still waiting. I had another executive 2 weeks ago say to me, I'm not going to just implement AI for the sake of it. I need to see some return on investment. I need to see, I'm not just going to do it for the hype. They need to see some concrete return. So, yes, people are dabbling. They're using it in small use cases. Some companies are using it more than others, but the hype is still there, and we know it's coming. We're skilling up as a business.
Yeah, thank you. That really sounds familiar with the university, which probably reflects all, employers at the moment who use Microsoft Office. We've all had Copilot and everybody is trying to use it. But in terms of, employee general skills of people going into the job market, people like me who are all established don't know how to use it. They've had to roll out AI apprenticeship across the university. So there's about 100 of us doing that. Not easy, no one's got time. So thinking about those things, what do you think, I can see already what would be the demand from general employers, not just in your sector, but from new entrants coming into the job market. These types of skills have been able to use, implement, critically think about AI and Copilot. What sort of skills do you think employers are really going to want with people coming out of university in this kind of era where AI is just everywhere?
Yeah, so AI is just not for techies. It's for
Mm.
everybody out there. So when I think about our marketing, MPower Up marketing person, right, also called Gemma, she is able to take um, a topic that we've given them and maybe sent her a link to it, and she's able to use AI and put together, a pretty good post, describing the issue, describe how she solve it, and get many more posts out than she could previously. If you're a business analyst, you know, there's ways to using Claude, just upload your requirements document, right? And say, can you summarize this and put this into a list of objectives with risks, assumptions, and also in some scenarios, I've seen people create nice process diagrams based upon requirements document. It gets them so far, it
Mm.
creates it, and you sort of amend it. So in terms of what we look for as you know, in terms of when we're employing people, on the AI front, we do now ask the question of everyone we interview, which is just, are you using AI?
Mm.
And the reason for that is it proves a bit of curiosity. You know,
Mm.
it proves they've got some ideas around, oh, maybe I could use AI to improve this. They're not waiting for us as seniors or owners, etc. And many of us owners are looking to people coming from universities and younger who are bringing these ideas to us, right, for AI, etc., rather than us prescribing to them, oh, can you use this AI tool? Can you do this with
Yeah.
AI? We're looking for them to come to us. So just by asking that
Mm.
question, it shows an element of thought about, oh yeah, I could use AI for that because it will be used more and more. So that's one
Mm.
thing I would recommend, when going for an interview, show a bit of an interest of AI and think of a few examples where you might have used it.
Yeah.
Um, in terms of, other skills that we look for, and this is, applies to not AI related things as well. There were two that sort of sprung to mind. One is on the technical side, right? Be focused. So Pavi came to us clearly on our CV. She was interested in Power BI. She'd started towards the Microsoft certification. If you're interested in Microsoft tools, Microsoft Learn is a resource which is so much free content, all the content needed to pass the certification. The certification costs like 80 quid or something like that. And you stick that on your CV, front and center, and straight away, if someone comes to us, okay, they've done the Power App certification, they've done the Power BI. So it shows focused. The CVs we look at less are the ones which have got every single programming language or every single skill, or the business analysts say they've worked in absolutely every technology or every field going. We're sort of looking for a bit of specialism. And the other one, is around sort of the soft skill area. So arguably, we've spoken about all this content, Microsoft Learn available online, free. Technical side could be taught, to a certain degree. But, being able to work with someone who could potentially speak to a customer, is willing to come for a coffee, or if they're not into coffee, I don't know, hot chocolate or something like that, and just have a chat. You spend 7.5 hours every day, 5 days a week of your life, with these people. You want to be able to chat, to chat about your day, what's been happening, etc. So those soft skills are sometimes, just as important as showing your technical skill set in an
Yeah.
interview.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. Thank you. So I think on that note, we'll talk to Pavi then, because Pavi, there's lots of ways to build the skills that Mark's just talked about while you're at university. We have
Yeah.
LinkedIn Learning paid for all students while they're students, and you can
Yeah.
learn, I think, well, by my standards, to quite a high level on a lot of softwares and technical
Yeah.
skills, as well as soft skills. And then
Yeah.
also there's loads of opportunities to practice the communication skills that Mark just talked about in things like the industry-led dissertation projects or just the student innovation projects. So Pavi, tell us all about your career so far and how you got to where you are.
Yeah, of course. So, hello everyone. I'm Pavithra Shetty. I did my master's in data and decision analytics from University of Southampton. Yeah, I graduated in 2023, and before I came for my master's, I had around 3 years of experience, 3 to 4 years of experience in business intelligence, and that's when I decided like I want to do specialization, and I came to University of Southampton, did my master's. When I was doing my master's, I grabbed two internship. One was in data science, and the other one was in visual design and data modeling. And both these internship I got through university career portal and the adverts that were sent to us. So yeah, this is like I would suggest everyone to keep an eye on all the adverts and the career portal that we have in the university. Like I got my internships through them, and I can say that they had like these internships have really helped me in my job applications because yeah, I mean they did add on, and it was something that I was looking even in job, like I was looking in the same area. I got those internship, and they were, I could see like the shortlisting of applications were because of the internship, because I was always asked about it. So yeah, and yeah, after my graduation, I joined MPower Up. Like I've been working there for like last 2 years. I I work as a Power BI developer, and my role is it sits at the intersection of a BI developer, a data engineer, data analyst, and even a mix of UI, UX. So yeah, I really like what I'm doing right now. It's all time working in and around data, and that's what I always wanted to do. Like I feel like ever since I did my undergrad. So yeah, and I think as an international student, like everyone, even my journey, I would say like it was exciting and challenging. I think it's a common basis for everyone. But I mean, obviously adapting to a new country, a different academic environment, navigating through this job market, it's not easy at all. But I would say it is achievable. It's achievable if you learn to accept things and you're open to learn new things. So yeah, like it's my mantra to be like, just keep learning. I'm on a constant upgrade mode, and that really helps me in my career. So all in all, I'll say like, like Mark said, like, we are just so used to calling him Mark S and Mark D because we are two Marks
Too
in our
many
office.
marks.
Yeah. So yeah, as Mark said, like technical skills are very important. Like they open doors, but along with that, there are other skills like adaptability, communication, and the willingness to, keep learning. It will always help you grow in your career. So yeah,
Yeah, thank you. That keeps coming up again and again, especially with all of this, the way AI has made the technology move so fast. Everybody
exactly.
has to keep learning. I think that has been reflected in all the sessions and everything else when we
Yeah,
meet employers that you have to get the edge, you have to be willing to never say, I know everything now. You have to keep learning new things, even if it pushes you out of your comfort zone. And that
yeah,
goes for non-technical people as well in
absolutely.
non-technical roles.
Yeah,
Like even all of us careers advisors and all the roles, we're all having to learn new things all of a sudden. And you either grasp that or you try and push back. But if you want to progress anywhere, I think you really have to embrace it.
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Well, we love to keep in touch with our alumni here. So we have lots of events for our alumni to mix with our current students. So maybe when you guys
Yeah,
get here, you'll get to meet Pavi and Raphael, and probably Mark as
Thank you
well, because
so much.
he seems to work very closely with us now. So we're one of our favoured employers. That's great.
yeah.
Thanks, Pavi. Right, let's hear from
Thank you.
Raphael, and then we'll go up to questions for everyone. So welcome, Raphael.
Yeah.
Um, Thanks for joining us today. And you're with a big company, aren't you? So you work for GSK, which is actually, I think, quite a global company. Is that right?
Yeah, so I think yeah, just a brief introduction. So I'm Raphael. I graduated with a master's in mechanical engineering with aerospace in summer of 2024, obviously from the University of Southampton. And since graduating, I've been on a grad scheme called the Future Leaders Program grad scheme within GSK. So just for those of you who are not aware or not familiar, GSK is a global biopharmaceutical manufacturing company. They operate all around the world. They've got sites, manufacturing sites in the US, South America, Europe, obviously the UK because it's a British company, and all throughout Asia and Africa as well. Um, so where I currently work, I work kind of as an engineer almost in several manufacturing sites. So I did my first year of my graduate scheme up in the northeast in Barnett Castle. So that's a massive, massive steriles manufacturing site which manufactures products such as vials and syringes for special therapies such as oncology, so cancer treatment drugs, along with also creams, ointment creams for example, skin conditions and stuff like that as well. And recently, in the past 10 months, I've been working at Ware, so that's just north of London in Hertfordshire. Again, another massive site, over 1,000 people on site across both manufacturing and R&D. And the site manufactures products such as respiratory products, so inhalers and stuff like that, as well as oral solid dose, so tablets for HIV patients around the world.
Brilliant. Thank you. So Pavi talked about how she did some internships and lots of activities. So did you do any internships or year in employment?
So I think I'm a bit of a unique case because I think, especially nowadays with how tough the job market realistically is, I think doing an internship is definitely a strong plus point for any graduate coming out of university. In my case, I didn't actually do an internship or a placement year. Um, but in terms of that, I do feel like there's a lot to gain from being able to do so. And I think there's a very strong difference going from kind of academic life versus actual working life. And even if, working in a large corporate company versus, companies of all different types of scales, the difference is quite big. And I think it is very beneficial to have an internship under your belt coming out of university. But I think I can serve as testament or as as a precedent or example that if you don't have one, it's not the end of the world. You can get jobs out there. I got quite a few offers coming out of uni. Obviously, as a student from the University of Southampton, it's well regarded amongst basically any employer out there. So you have that under your belt and you really try to use it best to your advantage.
So tell me about your job search process then. So how did you find the job and what happened?
Yeah, I mean, I think when I was due to graduate, it was a bit of a tricky situation politically as well in terms of visas and job availability in
Yes,
general
that
for
year.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the
summer
year the visa
2024.
rules changed.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was a tricky situation and I think when I was in that situation, I was almost in a bit of a panic mode, admittedly. I was, to be fair, I kind of neglected the quality over quantity when it came to job search. I was literally applying for so many jobs that I lost count, honestly. But yeah, it was a tough process, to say the least. But with the way I approached it is that I made sure to track everything that I was actually applying for. I think when you're going out and applying for, anything, 40, 50 jobs coming out of university, it's really hard. It's really easy for you to lose sight of, what are the main jobs that you're applying for. You can apply for 100 jobs, but for the ones that you really, really want and for the ones that you really think you have a good chance of getting, it might be 5 or 10 of them. So it's really important for you to track kind of your progress as you go along, your applications during your job search. But I think one piece of advice I'd probably give is really try it as hard as it is, given how hard it is to get, responses back from employers these days, or even, just the sheer lack of jobs. Really try to focus on quality over quantity, really trying to tailor your CV according to the job role or the job advert, as well as really trying to, focus on put your efforts more into the jobs that you really want versus, the jobs that you're applying for just because you want a job, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and there's lots of support available with our team. You can come
Yeah.
and have appointments as many times as you want, really, checking CVs, helping. But it is a good idea to come to an appointment with something you've tried to start already and then get help with tailoring it. So what do you think? Because Pavi said she could tell that her internships were asked about a lot in her interviews, and that helped her get the job. What do you think got you the job in the end?
I think, again, it probably differs slightly or, largely depending on, employer to employer. But in my experience, I think what really got me kind of over the edge in terms of getting to that final bit where you get to the assessment center and being able to get into the final interview is really trying to set yourself apart versus the other applicants. So I think when you're applying for these jobs, after the first stage where they screen your CVs, that's basically the hardest part, in my opinion. Getting past the computer side of things when you're going through a job application where there's probably screening through thousands of different types of CVs, different types of applicants. But again, as a technical graduate, it's very easy for us to kind of, zero in on the technical side of things when we're doing our applications or trying to present ourselves to these employers. But with that being said, ultimately, I think the technical side of things, you know, there's going to be a lot of other graduates out there who are, just as technically biased as you, just as technically competent as you. But what really sets you apart from the other applicants is kind of your soft skills. I think Mark and Pavi mentioned earlier as well, and I definitely agree with that. Soft skills in terms of how you're able to communicate with, people that you work with. How are you able to communicate with others from different backgrounds? So in my case, in my job, as an engineer and project manager, I have to be able to communicate with people from finance. I have to be able to communicate with people from, strategy, procurement, senior stakeholders, you know, all these different sectors in the business. They all kind of speak different languages, and the real ask is, are you able to tailor your wording and your messaging and your message to these different people in a way where it's palatable to all of them, while still being able to come together at the end to one kind of unified goal, if that makes sense?
No, that makes sense. Thank you so much. Okay, let's open up the questions then to people on the call, because I have more questions, but let's open it up to our. Mostly on the call we have our next year's students. So these are our offer holders, and this is the global week. So from countries all around the world, it would be good actually to see in the chat which countries some people are in. But please, yeah, do you have any questions for the panel? And you can come off mute. You can come off camera or just type it in the chat. If not, I will continue to ask questions because I have got lots of questions. Pavi, do you want to tell us about how you found your job? What was the job search process like for you?
Oh yeah, of course. So yeah, I mean, first thing first, everyone needs to like get their CV sorted. I feel like that's the main barrier. Like that's the main thing. I got my CV updated multiple times. I even came to you, Gem, I remember. Like I made sure that once my CV was like final, I used to get it evaluated by multiple people. And that really helped because feedback like from experienced people is important. So yeah, CV, once the CV sorted, I saw like every job I was applying, like at least 1 in 10, it was getting shortlisted. So which was a good count, to be honest, because I saw like every week I would have some interview scheduled. So it gave me confidence that at least my CV is sorted. And what I also did was I just didn't stick to LinkedIn or the usual Indeed portals. I made sure that I was uploading my resume in different platform like CV Library, Read. So although I was not applying jobs on these portal, but I made sure that I was uploading every time I updated my CV. I just kept uploading. So I think that's where different this resourcing people reach out to you. So I think that's how even my CV got shortlisted by a job hunter, and he recommended me MPower Up. Like there's a open application. Do you want to interview? And yeah, that's how. Also, another thing I want to say is the way you initially I had highlighted my like first job a lot. It was related to SAP business objects. And I had observed that I started getting interviews for SAP business objects, whereas I was looking for more related Power BI and data science. And because I was getting calls for that, I realized that I need to update my CV. So, yeah, just make sure that your CV is aligned to what you want and not adding too many different skills, as even Mark said, right? Like just add skills that you want to align your skills with what you want. That's it. So yeah, these are the
Yeah.
few tips I think helped
Yeah, and
me
you heard
out.
it
Yeah.
coming from Mark, who's an employer. So employers are
Yeah.
the people that have to read all the CVs. So they
Yeah.
just want to be able to find that information easily, don't they?
Yeah.
There's a question for you, Pavi, in the chat. So if
Yes.
somebody has said they'd love to know how you fit your internships around your studies.
So I would say like what I like in data and decision analytics, there was nothing related to data visualization or Power BI. This comes from my previous experience, but my master's helped me in many ways. Like one of the ways, like the concepts remain the same. Like although the applications and tools are different, but the concepts like they don't change. For example, we had a module called optimization, and I think from that module, it's my favorite module because I feel like I've learned so much um, skills which are tangible. Like it, I'm constantly thinking about how whatever I'm working on is, how I can optimize my work process, how I can optimize my SQL query. So yeah, I won't say like I had anything related to what I'm doing now, like directly, but a lot of things that I studied in my master's is something that I apply as a data analyst.
Thank you. And did you say you did an internship while you were studying?
Yes.
And that, I
Yes.
guess that was part-time around your schedule, right?
Yes. Yes. It was just before my dissertation started. So it was with iSolutions in University of Southampton. Yeah.
Yeah, the IT services department.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they offer, we have UOS internships, so they're
Yes.
exclusive to Southampton and they will fit around studies. So yes,
Yes.
Masters does have a packed schedule every day, but you can do part-time internships during that
Yes.
time. Okay, there's a question for Mark. Thank you, Pavi. So Mark, how could somebody communicate well with other departments in the technical field is the question.
I'm assuming that means that if you're technical, how do you communicate with other departments such as finance, HR,
Yeah, that's a
etc.?
good
Is that
question.
what?
Yeah, do you mean communicating with non-technical people if you're a technical person?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, the I mean, at the end of the day, the ability to be able to chat with somebody could involve, if you think the starter of a call could be, how was your weekend, etc. Right? So what we try and look for is when we talk about these soft skills, it's building a rapport because ultimately, as a business, we are building a rapport with a business with another customer. And so, the same of that is in large companies, right? In the enterprise I worked in, your customer is internal, it's another department. And so to communicate, it's building a rapport first, over and above other things. And then when you're working with these departments, such as HR and finance, and some of it comes down to experience, right? You will find that the same things crop up time and time again. For example, in ours, nearly every business has a joiners process, that involves HR, that involves a recruitment process, and involves a learning management system, where they're sending out training to employees. Every finance department, has accountants that have huge spreadsheets that they may want a system for, etc. So is there a learnt way to go, okay, I need to learn how to chat to people in finance? Do I need to learn how to chat to HR, etc.? Or do I need to learn how to speak to a manufacturing customer over a financial services customer or an insurance customer? There's no sure way, right? Because a lot of that would come with experience. But if we're taking on a graduate, the first thing we're looking for is those soft skills. What do you get up to at the weekend? Uh, are you using AI at all? Those sort of questions, which are, oh yeah, I'm using it. I'm curious about this. I've been looking at this. I've been following these blogs. At the weekends I follow football or whatever. Have you seen the World Cup? Yeah, those sort of things. Just build up a rapport. Doesn't matter what department you're in. That's a conversation that can be had. I hope that helps.
No, that does help. It does help a
Specific.
lot. And yeah, I think just getting involved with general opportunities, like anything from the networking events to the club societies, and there's always opportunities practice communicating with other people. Even going to a careers fair and practicing having a chat with an employer is a good way, isn't it, to just practice those skills? Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And ultimately, it's about understanding customer pain points, right? Everyone's using spreadsheets
Mm.
and get annoyed with that. Everyone wants to save time because they're spending it on an administration task, and being specific to what I do, right? But over time, experience, keep on speaking to these people, right? Don't if you get into a placement, if you get to chat to people at this networking event, don't just scurry away, keep your head down, and not these people are there to be spoken to. And the more you speak even about what they do outside of work, you're gaining some benefit.
Yeah, yeah, that's good advice. Thank you. So there was a question about looking for remote jobs, which I've put a link to the YouTube channel, which has all of these webinars, but also it has our workshops. And there's one on job search, which goes into a lot of detail. But really, if you want to know what remote jobs are available, go on general job boards like Indeed and start researching now. There's some remote jobs. Applying for them tends to be no different to applying for any other jobs, I would say. But yeah, you can start researching job boards before you get here to get an idea of what the job market looks like here, and I would definitely advise that. There's a question here for Raphael. Were you involved in any, this leads on nicely from what Mark was just saying. Were you involved in any clubs or societies while you were at university? Which ones helped you in your career, if any? And how did you manage your time? That's three questions in one.
Yep. No, thanks for the question to whoever who asked that. Well, yeah, I was involved quite a bit in quite a few clubs and societies or kind of extracurricular activities over the course of my studies. So I think earlier on, so just for context, I came from the University of Southampton, Malaysia, so the Malaysian campus. So I was there for the first 2 years of my undergraduate studies, and whilst I was there, I was quite deeply involved in the TEDx space. So for those of you who don't know what TEDx is basically independently organized TED Talks or TED events where, students or anyone in that space for that matter basically organizes a TED Talk, invites, external speakers and anyone that you'd be wanting to speak at your event, to basically present a piece of what they'd like to talk about. So I was quite involved in kind of the management of kind of that sort of projects earlier on in my studies. But when I came to the Southampton, the UK campus, I think especially in my third year of my integrated masters, I was quite involved in the Formula Student as well. So for those of you who are not aware what Formula Student is basically if you were to take F1 and put a bunch of students in there instead of actual F1 teams, and each university was representing their own team. That's essentially what it was. So you build an actual race car from scratch. You do the track simulations, the race simulations, and all that. So that kind of helped it from I would say it helped me a lot from a working in a large team because there were kind of different departments within the team as well. So it really helped you work in that sort of space, which might be relevant later on in your career, depending on what sort of, career that you choose to pursue. In terms of the time management side of things, I think when I was joining any of these extracurricular activities, I didn't try to take on anything that I knew I couldn't take, if that makes sense. So I think it's very easy to, when you come to university, you see all these clubs and societies, and you say, oh, I want to join a bit of everything. But realistically, how much time or dispensable time outside of your actual, studies do you have? So it's really trying to find the balance of your mandatory activities versus your kind of, you know, optional activities, and how can you balance those. But it really is dependent on your own schedule and what you're willing to take on. So I would say understand the time commitments before you get into these. Understand what you want to gain from it, most importantly, and then from there you should be able to make a good decision. I hope that
Thank you.
answers your
I've
question.
seen the F1. I've seen the
Yeah,
F1 car, the student one. It's really cool, isn't it?
yeah.
They brought a real F1 car on campus the other day. Don't ask me what team, I can't remember, but they had the
It was, I
next
think it would have been Mercedes, wasn't it? I think they've
Yes.
brought that onto site quite a few times now. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right, Mercedes. Yeah, that event is always fully booked. Okay, so I've put quite a few links in the chat there for things that you can do now. I've put the clubs and societies. We have got loads at Southampton, clubs and societies. And, paid internships aren't the only way to get work experience and build skills. Because let's be frank, there's not enough for everyone. Yeah, there's not going to be an internship for everyone. You have to interview, you might not get one. If you don't just give up. You can do loads of things to build the CV, and that's what we're there to help you with. You can do virtual projects online. You can, even do software projects in your bedroom, anything that makes it look like you're interested. You can do club societies. You can have positions of responsibility in clubs and societies. There's lots of things you can do, volunteering, work shadowing. Don't just think internships or nothing. That's definitely not the case here in the UK. Well, thank you to the panel. Do we have any more questions? There's no more in the chat. I like to leave time after the recording if anybody's shy and doesn't want to be on the recording. So I think I will end the recording there, and then we'll have a few minutes after. So thank you very much, guys. It's been a wonderful panel. Really good to have you. I will stop the recording now. It always takes me a moment to stop the recording on Zoom because I don't know where the controls are properly. There we go. So thank you very much.